And just like that, the St. Louis Blues win a game.
Hey, this is Brandon Chen. Subscribe to Locked On Blues.
You're Locked On Blues, your daily podcast on the St. Louis Blues. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And welcome back to Locked On Blues. I am your host of Locked On Blues, Haley Taylor Simon, talking to you all things about our St. Louis Blues here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And the Blues finally won a game. It was a shutout win, and it was against the Buffalo Sabres. So there's that. Jordan Kyrou, will he be traded? And of course, my favorite Friday segment and my only Friday segment, Are We Feeling Blue? Was this a good week or was this a bad week for the St. Louis Blues? I think you might know the answer to that one. Before we begin, I want to let you know that today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Download the FanDuel app now by visiting FanDuel.com and win $300 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Well, after that 6-1 ugly loss, let me reiterate, ugly loss against the Capitals, it was about time the Blues kind of bounced back, okay? And they did so against the Buffalo Sabres. Okay, listen. I know Buffalo's not a good team, but like we're worse. So in my eyes, we beat a team that's better than us, which is like super embarrassing that it was Buffalo. But you know what? I'll take it. Mojo, Matthew Joseph with an unassisted short handy in the first frame. It was a beautiful goal. Scoring second was Nick Bukestad. And then finally in the third frame, the empty net goal goes to Justin Folk. So, yay. No, he was fine. Joel Hofer, though, with 28 saves, career shutout, another career shutout, first of the season. And on top of that, the Blues finally looked good again with your faceoffs, winning 54% of them. Now, what I will say, though, is that I mentioned that Buffalo had 28 shots on goal. The Blues only had 17. I would like to see a little bit more. However, at the end of the day, a win is a win. After that, and listen, I'm not forgetting, by the way, about the ugly loss against the Capitals. And I'm taking last night's win kind of for granted. One, you don't have Jordan Kyrou as he was healthy scratched, right? Which I have my opinions and we'll talk about that. I don't know if I'm able to look at what just happened in last night's game and forget all the bad. I don't think I'm there yet. And I don't think any of you should be in that position either. I think that last night's win, it was a win that should have been expected, right? I mean, Buffalo, as I mentioned, not a good team. I just have a really difficult time actually understanding if this team is as bad as we think they are, which I think they are. And if that's the case, yeah, you're going to pick up wins here and there, but I don't think it's anything, crazy to do with the opponent, right? I mean, we beat the Oilers, and the Oilers are a good team. I just don't see, in just in my opinion, how we can look at last night's game and that could erase all the negativity and all the issues. Like, it shouldn't. I'm not a fan of what happened last night in a sense that there were still things that I was disappointed in. And you know what? Let's go say it how it is. This team looks so scared sometimes. And they look scared to do anything in the offensive zone and take their risk and jump the O zone. And just the way that they play, I don't know. I'm not really a huge fan of that. I don't know. I cannot wait to talk to you about this Jordan Kyrou segment, by the way, because a lot of my thoughts and feelings have to kind of do with Ruzi in a sense, right? But after the game, Monty did speak, and he said, I thought the majority of the game, the effort was significantly better than yesterday. I thought the physicality was good. I like the way that we dug in There were numerous block shots, and our goaltender was our best player, and that's what you need on the road. He also spoke about Joel Hofer and said his first save of the game was a great glove save, and the bench got really up because of it. We got energy from it, and he was solid all night long. Now, what I will say is this about Hofer is, yeah, I was concerned about him. I don't think you could look at me in the eyes and say that you weren't concerned about him, okay? Because at the end of the day, yeah, it was rough. It's still gonna be rough, okay? I'm not expecting him all of a sudden to be this fantastic goalkeeper this season when I don't see that. But I'm happy for him in a sense that he was able to get this shutout win. I think it's a really difficult situation for these goaltenders, honestly, when you're off to a really bad start in the season and it gets put on you a lot. And I think that it's very fair with hockey, right? And the way that the game is played, that we tend to blame the goaltenders, right? We don't blame maybe the forwards that had bad turnovers. We blame really the goaltenders. And Hofer got a lot of blame, and rightfully so. He did not play well. And I'm, again, not excusing that. But I think last night kind of proved, yeah, this is, this is the goalie that we have as a backup for a specific reason. Jordan Binnington has had a bit of a rough season because of the team in front of him. Now, again, you win as a team, you lose as a team. Okay. But I'm going to still defend players independently because I feel like there's some players that get lumped into things. And can you confidently look at me and say that you think that Justin Folk is a better player than Joel Hofer? Yeah, exactly. You can't. Like, sorry. And am I a bit of a hater? Absolutely. But it comes within reason. I think that there's some players that I just don't see a lot of good from. And that's how I feel about Logan Mayu. And I know I talked about this a little bit on yesterday's episode, but when the Blues traded Zach Bolduc for Logan Mayu, I was like, this is such a joke. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. Because it didn't make any sense when you have a player that's developed like a Zach Bolduc, who played fantastic, by the way, last season, and you're trading him for Logan May. Like, make it make sense to me. And I believe that's why I have so much built up frustration. It's because decisions that were made, and while they're minute, right, in the grand scheme of things, it all plays a role. When you don't, and I know, Haley, get off of the Ryan Suter thing. I know he's whatever. But the point is, you have players that are not a part of this team from last season where they were a playoff team. And you have, and I know people get on me about this, but you need to evaluate, was every move that was made, and while they were small ones, the correct move? And I think that's an answer that you can answer as a fan. I can answer as a fan. But it's something like Doug Armstrong as GM, because he's still GM, he's going to have to answer. Steen, when he takes over, he's going to have to answer. I mean, these are all things that need to be resolved, because you cannot, in the foreseeable future, ever have a season starting off like this. This is bad. Like, this is as bad, in my opinion, as it can get. Because it's not that they're losing games, it's the lack of energy on the ice. It's the sloppiness. It's just not a good team. And I cannot defend this team and say, yeah, this is why I think they should go to the playoffs. I can't say that. And that's maybe not how this season's going to go. And I hate that, because last year we had a lot of fun talking, the playoffs. But the reality is, yeah, maybe we should say hello to Gavin McKenna. I'm not even joking. Like, that literally might be a reality of what's going to happen with this team. But speaking of a reality, I want to talk a little bit about Jordan Kyrou. Nothing too crazy, but towards the end of the episode yesterday, I kind of touched on some thoughts and some feelings, okay? But I want to talk to you first about my friends over at Rugiet. Let's be real, making excuses does not solve anything. We've all heard them before. It's just stress. I'm tired. Or it happens to everyone sometimes. But when it comes to performance, sometimes your body just needs a little extra support, and that's where Rugiet comes in. Rugiet.com offers fast acting, doctor prescribed treatments for ED designed to help you stop making excuses and start making moves. Rugiet makes it easy to get started. All you have to do is just connect with a board certified doctor, and it's 100% online, so there's no awkward waiting room visits, no in person appointments. And the best part, if prescribed, it's fast, simple, and private, okay? It's all handled by real doctors and it goes straight to your door. So visit rugiet.com/lockedonnhl to get 15% off your first order. That's rugiet.com/lockedonnhl. And don't forget to use our code LOCKEDONNHL so they know we sent you. Rugiet, stop making excuses and start making moves. This is my firstborn cat, by the way, my Stella, who you guys used to see a lot. My new cat, Carmela, is always in the background, but sometimes Stella will make an appearance. Speaking of appearances, we did not see one from Jordan Kyrou last night. Boom, that transition was good, actually. Oh, wow, that was actually good. Yeah, no, but there was no Jordan Kyrou last night. That was not good. I know the team won, and the team winning is good. I'm happy that the Blues won. Trust me on that. But I still don't agree with Coach Montgomery's decision to scratch Kyrou. I don't see eye to eye with him on that one. I don't. And the reason why is, and I knew this was going to happen because we talked about it and I mentioned that this was going to happen. If you healthy scratch Oscar Sundquist, right? You're not going to have everybody freaking out being like, "Oh my god, is Sundquist going to be traded?" No. When you scratch Logan Mayu, okay, yeah, people are going to be like, "Well, this kid, isn't working out." But you're not going to have that same type of reaction from when you scratch Jordan Kyrou. And that is the issue. I mean, he's only 27 years old. And again, here we go again. Is Jordan Kyrou on name watch for Montreal or Utah? Islanders should be watching Jordan Kyrou. It's these are all articles today, by the way, and it's like I knew this was going to happen. As soon as you healthy scratch Kyrou, you're gonna have every single outlet thinking that he's going to be traded. And I don't see the Blues doing that. This organization would be a complete joke if they did that because he is actually a really good player, okay? I think scratching him was a disgusting move because it takes 2 seconds to know that the media would be freaking out over this. And now it's become a thing about Jordan Kyrou. And again, why are you putting that on him? It's interesting to me, right? Because when Kyrou made those comments about Berube, I was ticked off. A lot of us were ticked off, right? Rightfully so. But he admitted to it, apologized, and got emotional with how the fans felt. And it's interesting to me because there's people that are like, what's he going to do? Cry again? I think that it's okay to express your emotions. And it just goes to show how much he does love it here in St. Louis. So I just want to say that off the bat that let's not use a moment that he had. And I don't want to say in weakness. I think it takes a lot of strength to admit your wrongs. But let's not use that against him now, right? He didn't do anything, in my opinion, to deserve the treatment that he's been getting for a long time here in St. Louis. But it's not us. It's also, if you think about it, and I hate to say it, national media. Like this season, he has 8 points with 4 goals and 4 assists. You know, and I'm just so frustrated. So frustrated for Kyrou. You have no idea. And it does bother me. Could you imagine if he did that with Robert Thomas? Like, why is it Jordan Kyrou? And I know that he didn't play a good game, but let's be real, against the Capitals, nobody did. I can't name you a single player that played a good game against the Caps. That's the reality. And I would. If I truly thought somebody stepped up and played a good game, I would say it. I didn't think anybody did. Hence why I'm not saying it. I'm not going to lie to you on my show. So I felt like it was a really interesting decision by Coach Montgomery, and I respect Coach Montgomery to pieces, okay? So don't get it twisted. But I can still think it was a horrible move to make. And that's where other people in the organization need to step in and say you can send a message without knowing the repercussions. And the repercussions, it doesn't impact the Blues, it impacts a person. Jordan Kyrou. Like, we're always going to hear Jordan Kyrou trade rumors. Like, that's always going to be a thing. And I get it. But it's like, if you think about it, if he was on any other team, well, not like any other team, but man, like, he has such potential. And this, I hope this doesn't kill any confidence or any swagger or anything that he's had, because I feel horrible for him. He should not have been scratched. Like, I'm looking at my social media at Locked On Blues, which you can follow again at Locked On Blues. And I've been kind of crashing out, to say the least, right? And he was up in the press box. He had a nice little beanie on and some glasses and whatever. But I was obviously really frustrated about Jordan Kyrou, as mostly everyone is entitled to. So I said Jordan Kyrou being scratched when he's been one of the better players this season goes to show how out of touch this team is. And somebody said, I wish there was a way for him to join his brother. And I'm like, oh man, here comes the trade rumors again. The Drop Hockey Show said Shen and Boosh should sit. They keep making him the scapegoat in newspaper articles, the organization, and with fans. And I thought that was an interesting point, because Bushi really should. Someone said Shen has been the heart and pulse of this team. And then the Drop Hockey Show said, do you actually watch the games? Which I thought was kind of funny. Somebody said, Kyrou doesn't even give effort. He gives plenty of effort, first and foremost. Somebody then said, have you been watching the same games? Kyrou is streaky and has been non-existent in the last 7 to 8 games. He costs on the back check and does not forecheck aggressively at all. But I do agree, Bushi should be sitting also. He's been terrible. Okay, so we have a bunch of people being like, do you even watch the games? Yes, I watch every single game. He's been the worst. That's who you think? Okay. Not the guy that you're paying 8 milli to do nothing, like Pavel Buchnevich. Oh, what did I say? Yeah. It's just the constant blaming of Kyrou. Did I say that he was fantastic? No, but he's one of the better guys on the team, and that is a fact. It's such a joke. It's always blame Kyrou, and if you don't like that Kyrou's getting blamed, then it's, oh, you don't watch games. How would I live tweet if I don't watch games, first and foremost? And secondly, why is that what we say to people when we don't agree? Why can't it just be, hey, you have a different opinion than me? Why does it have to be, you don't watch any games? Okay, maybe you don't watch any games based on your reaction. All right, time to tell you about my friends over at FanDuel. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making the late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Every single Friday, I do a segment called Are We Feeling Blue? Where we talk about, was this a good week or was this a bad week for the St. Louis Blues? Let me be very clear. Okay, very clear. Despite the win over the Sabres and the Oilers, this was still a bad week. When you lose to the Capitals 6-1 in an embarrassing fashion, right? Embarrassing. I can't say it was a good week. You had Sonny scratched, Kyrou scratched, Logan Mayo has proven yet again why the Blues lost the trade. I can't look at this team and think this is a pretty good hockey team. I can't do that to you. That'd be a lie. That'd be an L-I-E, a lie. And I can't also say I'm feeling good when the reality is while, yes, it's the beginning of November, it seems like the Blues, well, they can call it a wrap. And listen, I'm excited if we get McKenna, Gavin McKenna. Tank for McKenna. I'm trying to be positive, but like it's really sad when you think about it. But when I'm looking at the NHL, right, and I look at a few things when I'm kind of making my evaluations based off of, what's going on. And it is November 7th, and we sit at 12 points. We're a 400 team, right? Not good. Below us with 10 points is the Flames, right? Above us with 13 points is the Sharks. So I'm putting it into perspective in that sense, right? Where the Flames have won 2, we have won 1, Sharks have won 1, right? Just follow along with me. I believe the Flames are a much better team, actually, than they are ranked right now. They have a lot of guys out, injured. We don't have that, right? Like, these are just our guys. I don't know if the Blues are going to be able to achieve much with their upcoming schedule. And let me further explain. Tomorrow night, you have the Seattle Kraken. Then you have the Flames. And listen, the Flames and the Blues, it's going to be, it's basically like the Jets and the Browns, but of the NHL. Okay? You have the Flyers, who, we'll get into that. Then we have those Golden Knights. We're hosting the VGK, the LTIR team. Then we're in Toronto. Then we're in Philadelphia. Then we're at Long Island in New York. And then the Rangers, the Devils, the whole Metropolitan. The Devils are a pretty good team. Like, I just don't know where we're going to be getting some of these wins. I don't. Man, do you think Craig Berube is going to laugh at us when he sees us when we come to Toronto? I would. With how they're playing, this is a laughing stock. It's a joke. I keep on saying it, but I mean it. So if you say, am I feeling blue? Yeah, I'm in my blues. I'm feeling down and blue. It's depressing. All right, I will talk to you next week. And like always, let's go Blues.